Let's move forward to what I'll call the race of the weekend here. We're going to go back to Turfway Park here. Race number 9 on Saturday's card, 1.16 over the synthetic. The John Battaglia Memorial, $175,000 on the line, and the prep here at Turfway for the Jeff Ruby Stakes, one of the major Kentucky Derby preps. Really interesting race here. Number 1, Street Beast, is going to be your favorite, 5-2 on the morning line. Looked very good winning over this turf or synthetic course last time out after running 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf over at Del Mar. But I'm not going with the 1. I actually had 3 horses here that I liked more than the 1. And I thought this was a wildly competitive race. We've got 12 heading posts. We do have a 13th also eligible horse, so I think it's a little bit interesting if draws in. Where are you going on top here in this spot?
It's hilarious because I have 3 horses that I wanted to talk about as well, and none of them are the 1 Street Beast. I'll just start. I'm going to try to beat Street Beast here. I think the pace is going to be very fast, and I think that's going to be a problem for him. And I don't know, like the extra 16th of a mile with a faster pace, I just don't want to play a short price in this one. So I was between 3 horses, number 7, Attfield, number 9, Stop the Car, and number 11, Full Effort. Those are the 3 that I like here in this spot. I ended up going number 11, Full Effort on top just because I just think this pace is really going to speed up, and I think it's going to benefit him quite a bit. He closed very nicely last time out in the race at Street Beast. Won in the local prep race for this one, talking about the 11 Full Effort. It just that day, it's like, man, he's making up a lot of ground. Even if it was just an extra 16th of a mile, I think he would have got there even without a faster pace. So I ended up going with him. I do think, though, the number 7 Attfield is just really fascinating to me. That's who I put in second. Broke the maiden sprinting at Saratoga on debut. That is not easy to do. Beat Schwarzenegger that day, a very heavily hyped horse. Schwarzenegger really stopped after going fast, but still,
Yeah.
I mean, he did, but look, he was the only one to catch him. So Give him credit. Third in a sprint next, and then stretched out to 1.16 and 1 last time out. I just worry it's a long time. November 7th is the last time we saw this horse. So I was a little bit worried about that. I also have some mild interest in the number 9, Stop the Car. His first 2 races were really good on the dirt. His race last time out in LeCompte was just terrible. Will the surface change maybe help him a little bit? Will just a little bit easier of a race help him a little bit? So I'm 11, 7, 9, and it is very close between those 3. I'm on what order I've got them in.
Yeah, it's interesting. So we each have 3 horses we want to talk about. Only one of your horses is on my list. And
Nice.
We're not talking about the favorite yet, which tells you just how wide open this race is. So for me, the 7 Attfield is one that I'm interested in. I went back and forth, and I do think that it's a horse that can be closer to the pace and still be very effective. So I do think the 7 Attfield has a shot here. The 12 Two-Out Hero, who's going to be first off the layoff here for Kevin Attard, trainer who's usually up in Woodbine, was in the summer, the Grade 1 summer, last time out, late last season. And that was after breaking the maiden on synthetic, winning by 12 lengths, jumps up to a stakes race, wins on the turf, stretches out to a mile, ends up running a very good third in that race. I do think 2 Out Here is a little interesting, but I'm going to go with the biggest price of the 3 that I'm interested in. I'm going to go to the other Brad Cox horse. Give me the number 4, Kilo Tango here, 12-1 on the morning line. This is one of those horses I think is really interesting because Brad Cox debuts at Keeneland trying to get on the turf. That race gets rained off the turf. Irad Ortiz rides. Ends up not running very well in the 10 out of 10 post. Comes back on the Churchill Downs turf. Stays on the turf there. I think runs a really sneaky good race. Broke from the 7th gate, lost ground on both turns, was 3 wide on the first turn, 4 wide on the second turn. Ends up running third to a horse named No Joke Joe, who came back to win next time out and has been a very usable, very good horse at the stakes level, exiting out of that race. And then comes to Turfway Park and breaks the maiden in what I thought was a very good closing effort, runs a career best buyer. This horse is bred for the synthetic, has a very high Tomlinson score in the synthetic of a 393. And now you get De La Cruz in the saddle here. 81 runs for Brad Cox, has won 38% of those over the last 2 years, is 4 for 8 at Turfway Park. You mentioned the pace. I think it's going to be hot. I think it sets up for a horse coming from off it. I'll go with the other Brad Cox in here, the 4 Kilo Tango at 12-1.
Yeah, it is interesting that we're trying to go against a favorite. We only have one overlapping. We like three horses. Man, Kilo Tango. I looked at this horse forever, and I just don't know that he's going to be fast enough. That's what I worry about. But you know what? I said the exact same thing about Pavlonian last week, and lo and behold, so look for Kilo Tango to go gate to wire, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's going to happen. Well, it's interesting.
Go ahead.
It's interesting you say fast enough because, and I'm not a big time guy, but I want to make sure I put that out there right away because the track variance can be so different from day to day. But Kilo Tango won it a mile over that Turfway Park track in 1 minute and 40 seconds, 1:40 and 2/5. Street Beast won over a mile in 1 minute 40 seconds and 2/5. Same time as the favorite, right? And so, like, I mean, if you tell me someone's going to improve, I could see Kilo Tango taking a big-time step forward here. Fourth race of the career. His horse cost a pretty penny, $575,000 at auction. And I like the fact that Irad thought it was worth riding this horse the first two races. That tells you something because Cox and Irad usually team up with Cox's better horses, and then you get Machado, who does jump off here, which is, I guess, one of the things you would be a little bit concerned about. But he's not landing anywhere else in here. So to me, it's one of those situations where, we're getting one of the riders that is regularly up for this barn. So I'm not overly concerned about the jock switch here. And De La Cruz is 17% at the track. Like, he knows how to ride this racetrack as well. So probably needs to get a little faster, but to me is one of the horses that I think could really improve in this spot.
Has a right to improve for sure. And look, we were talking about dirt races and how hard it is to close in a dirt race. Well, this is not a dirt race. It's synthetic. In synthetic and turf, closers become more dangerous, right? It's still not like the easiest thing in the world to come from way out of it, but you got a much better chance to do it. So you don't mind taking those quite as much, which is why I took Full Effort. And look, Kilo Tango and Full Effort, the two Brad Cox horses, they're probably going to be side by side in this race, about 12 lengths out of it, right? So hopefully we're both getting the pace, and then we can root for either one of them to get home there. So you mentioned that the horse on the also eligible list. I wanted to talk about that one just real quick. This is kind of another one you could say, hey, we could take a step up here because debuted, ran 6 furlongs, won the race by a length and a quarter. It was only, like I said, a 6 furlong race, but I thought he looked pretty sharp doing it. I don't know about the stretch out, but pedigree-wise, on the bottom at least, it feels like we're going to be able to get this distance. I thought the 13 Small Town made a lot of sense here. I don't know. We talk about trips a lot. We're going to talk about them later as well. I don't know what kind of trip we can work out from the 13 hole, but I think the horse is dangerous if he gets in.
Yeah, interesting thing. Michael McCarthy, a trainer I think we both respect quite a bit, able to kind of place horses well, was 0 for 24 on synthetic prior to that race. Now 1 for 25. So it doesn't put a lot of horses on synthetic and doesn't usually have success, yet had a debut winner there. That tells you that this was really a horse that he felt this was the best surface for. And the fact that we're jumping up into this race second out, I think says a lot about what Michael McCarthy believes in Small Town. So I think the 13 is interesting if the 13 draws in. I'm a little surprised. We'll talk about the 1 and the 11 in a second here, but I'm a little surprised you didn't like the 12 2-out hero. I thought this was one of those that you might gravitate toward, especially because of that grade 1 summer effort last time out. Argos wins that race. I think we both believe that's a good horse, as well as Wild Desert, who ran second there. What was your reasoning to not use the 12 2-out hero?
Hadn't seen him since September 13th, so I was a little bit worried about that. I don't trust only Woodbine runners until I see him run outside of Woodbine once. And that's where it was for me. I think the summer specifically was a very good race, but I just worry. I also worry about the trip for this horse. All the way out the 12 hole, has speed. Are we going to try to take him gate to wire? Are we going to sit off and maybe be 4 or 5 wide? Because there's a lot of horses I think are going to go towards the front. So a little bit worried about the pace or about the trip. But most importantly, I just don't trust the Woodbine horses until they make that first start outside of Woodbine, and then we can go from there.
It's fair. I mean, I usually want a better price if I'm taking the Woodbine-only horses when they're at Saratoga or they're coming to Turfway or at Gulfstream. I want doubles. I want 10-1 plus versus 3-1. One of the reasons why 2-out hero didn't end up on the top of my ticket here. All right, let's talk about the number 1 Street Beast and the number 11 Full Effort. You mentioned you like the 11 a little more than the 1. It's a Brad Cox horse that ran very well on the turf, then tried the synthetic for the first time. I thought ran well, but was kind of just up against it, considering the pace setup that Street Beast was able to get in that 8-horse field. I think we both agree the pace is going to be faster, and that's one of the reasons we're against Street Beast here in this spot. You like the 11 of the two. Was it simply just the pace setup here, as you mentioned, or is this a horse that you think has an opportunity to really take a step forward second off the layoff?
Well, the pace is the biggest thing for me and why I like the 11 Fulleffort. I just kind of feel like when you go back and watch the last race, that was a pretty good effort for a horse that was chasing basically no speed whatsoever, was able to close and almost get the job done. And I just think with different dynamics, the horse wins. Look, with Street Beast, I like this horse, but I just don't think it sets up very well for him. On the rail, going to get pressed every step of the way, got to go a little bit longer. I will tell you this, if Street Beast wins here, I think he is really going to be a pretty good horse on the turf later on in the season, right? I just don't think this is a Derby horse no matter what, because you don't have breeding that really says it. And if he was a dirt horse, they'd try it, well before now, and they still aren't trying it. So I think the Street Beast he ran really well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf as well. But I just think the dynamics are going to be really tough for him in this spot. So that's why I'm kind of against him. If he wins, proves me wrong, definitely a horse I think is going to be useful down the road. But if he wins here, it's going to be a pretty good effort in my opinion.
Yeah, Street Beast, one of those horses where just don't do the Derby. If he wins this, if he wins the Jeff Ruby Stakes, don't do it. We've seen it before. It takes a long time for those horses to refigure themselves out after that dirt run, and this is to me a horse that should be on turf. So we'll see what Street Beast does on a Saturday. I do want to mention one more because I looked at the number 2 Steel Imperium for a long time. Horse is 15-1 on the morning line. Broke the maiden impressively, going 6 furlongs over this racetrack. Probably wants a lot more distance than that. Arch on the bottom, Essential Quality on the top. The horse sold for $510,000 off a $25,000 stud fee. That's a good sign. Was able to close a ton of ground. Broke from the inside as a first-time starter and did it, which is not an easy thing to do. I am a little interested in the 2 Steel Imperium, and I will be pretty pissed at myself if this horse wins, and I didn't at least mention it here because this is one I am going to be using in the Maltese.
Yeah, I hear you. I thought about this one for a while too. It's just the unknown. We don't really know, but like you said, man, really should go much, much better once we stretch out. And anytime a horse with that pedigree wins on debut going short, you do start to think, man, when we see this horse at a mile 16th, mile and an eighth, what are we going to see? I ultimately couldn't do it either. But wheel him back quick, too. 2 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. Which is kind of, it's kind of a sign. It's like, we like him. Let's try to get him in there, and let's see what happens. So, I'm not going to use, but, if he wins, hopefully you're alive and you used him, and it's all good.
Yeah, it's one of those you're going to get the price on as well. Number 4, Kilo Tango for me in the Jeff Battaglia Memorial here from Turfway Park. Race number 9 on Saturday. It's 11 for you officially, right?
Yep, number 11. Yep.
Number 11, Fulleffort for Aaron, 3-1 on the morning line there. 2 Brad Cox horses, and what is an absolutely wide open race. This one, you could literally make case for 9 of these horses in my mind in this full field. And keep an eye on the number 13, Small Town, if draws in as well, as we're both a little bit interested there.